Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. It's finally time for what you've all been waiting for. Maybe. Today we'll be ranking all 27 equipment items from worst to best. This video took me a bit longer than expected as some of the equipments I just never pick up in my runs, so it took a bit longer to rank everything correctly. As for the rankings, they will be based much more heavily off of how fun they are rather than how objectively useful they are, so please be nice when you comment about any opinions you have on the rankings. I am not a professional at this game, and I am making this ranking for fun. One last note before we get into it, I chose to exclude the elite aspects from this ranking as they are incredibly rare, and because of this, very hard to rank. And without further ado, let's get into it. Number 27 is the fuel array, because obviously. I will say, out of curiosity, I asked my Discord about any hidden uses, and apparently Engineer's walking turrets can hold it, which has some rather morbid implications. Other than Rex Unlock Challenge though, this equipment obviously has no uses, so it's getting last place. Number 26 is the volcanic egg. Listen, if the volcanic egg has haters, I am one of them. If the volcanic egg has one hater, I am that person. If the volcanic egg has no haters, I've died. I have not used a more awkward and punishing item that has almost no reward before like this. Yes, free flight is cool. However, it's slow as hell, does way too low and inconsistent damage, and is basically useless in every aspect. I don't want to talk about this anymore, because the hate I have for this item is actually real. Number 25 is the radar scanner. This item is pretty helpful for saving time, which can be very useful, but that's about it. I suppose it could help newer players find some chests, but after your first 100 hours, your peripheral vision becomes so good at spotting chests that this never becomes an issue. A few movement speed items honestly does this item's job better. Number 24 is the supermassive leech. I feel so sad whenever I see this item. I don't know what it is, but it just feels so pathetic to use. Only 20% of your damage as healing is so small, and it doesn't last long enough to earn it any higher than 23rd. Also, I feel like I only ever see this around the first few stages. I don't know, I've conditioned myself to expect the first equipment barrel to always drop this now, and it really bothers me. Number 23 is the remote caffeinator. I want to like this item a lot, and I think it's very quirky. However, it's also very difficult to work around. Having to get to the vending machine to be able to heal is more difficult than it sounds, and the healing payoff isn't exactly worth it. Yes, this allows you to more dynamically use things like squid polyp and fireworks, however, unless you are making a build around those items, it's not really worth it. Number 22 is the backup. Another disappointment here. You will not be using this item for its damage output. It's not the worst item in the world though, and I think that it really shines in its ability to take some attention away from you when you need it the most. Other than that though, it doesn't do a whole lot, so it's just a bit boring. Number 21 is the ocular HUD. I don't love the few equipment items that just do the same thing as another item. 10 Lensmaker's glasses completely negate all use of this item, and while getting that is easier said than done, even 5 Lensmakers would probably be better. The ocular HUD looked really cool when I started playing this game, but now that I've played it for a hot minute, it's pathetic. It's really nice early game though, so I'll allow it. Number 20 is the crowdfunder, which is the first item in this list that I expect some of the Eclipse nerds might disagree with me on its placement. I don't like this thing. Even if it is basically free damage and a proc coefficient hose, it is awkward to use and is punishing in the early game. This is one of those items that I really need more time to mess with because I honestly don't know all its quirks yet. Number 19 is the Milky Chrysalis. This item is super useful. It's decently fast, gives you free flight, and lasts pretty long, but it kinda sucks. I don't know how to describe it, but it feels so icky to use, and you never actually need to use it that much. There are better escape and movement tools in the game, so I'm fine with giving it 19th place. Number 18 is the Primordial Cube. This item is so cool and so fun to use, but oh my god, 80% of the times I use this equipment it misses or grabs like one beetle. There never seems to be enough enemies in the same area at the same time to get that much value out of it, but I still love it. Number 17 is the Molotov cocktail. I love this item. The only reason I am placing it lower is because I am old and wise, and I understand why people don't like this item that much. I understand that it misses often. I understand that it doesn't do that much damage, and I understand that there are so many far better damaging equipment options in the game, so I accept it. The Molotov 6-pack still has a special place in my heart. Number 16 is the eccentric face. This item seems useless. A quirk at best, but no more than that. But the true and lovely power of this beautiful item is the fact that it can quickly and extremely easily allow you to skip pillars. If I haven't found anything better by the time I get to commencement, this item is my favorite. I honestly take this over some equipments ranked higher on this list, just because I hate doing pillars that much. Number 15 is the Gnarled Wood Sprite. This item is basically just a flat regeneration buff. Using the equipment helps you, and sometimes it can help your allies, but sometimes it's better to just have it as its own little thing in the background. It being a percentage heal is pretty sweet, and it's extraordinarily useful to use when you don't have that many healing items outside of it. Number 14 is the Foreign Fruit. I mean, come on, 50% maximum health healing instantly is helpful no matter what you think of the item. The amount of times this item has saved my ass is insane. Unfortunately, using normal items that can heal more consistently is just better. The cooldown is pretty punishing without ways to reduce it, but it's still pretty fun to use. We've made it halfway through this video, and if you've watched this long, I think it's safe to say that you're enjoying the video. If you're hate watching, that's fine as well, but if you are enjoying it, consider subscribing, as it helps me out a ton. Number 13 is the Prion Accumulator. Does this item just do way too much damage? Absolutely. Is this item hard to use, aim, and rely on? Also yes. I'm sorry, but this thing's charge up time makes me miss it 80% of the times I use it. Regardless of this, it's still pretty satisfying to use. Number 12 is the Jade Elephant. Every Eclipse player has lectured me at least once on how this equipment is insanely overpowered, but I just don't agree. Yes, it's nice to have, and no one is disagreeing with 500 armor, but in my experience, it is super situational and hard to work around if you aren't able to get enough gestures. With gestures and fuel cells though, it's pretty great. Number 11 is Gubo Jr. This one is pretty dang helpful. As seen with the recent Devotion update and the Artifact of Devotion, giving allies your items can get out of hand pretty quickly. Gubo both distracts other enemies and deals a lot of damage depending on your items, so it can be insanely useful at times. Unfortunately, it is hard to work around and has a punishing cooldown, so I can't in good conscience place it any higher. Number 10 is Gorag's Opus, which is the multiplayer player's dream. So much value can be gotten out of this item in the early game, and if you have a lot of drones or spare drone parts, Gorag's Opus becomes just that much more useful. Even in single player, an on-call attack speed increase with a lenient cooldown is really nice. Number 9 is one of my favorite items in the game, the disposable missile launcher. I'm sorry, but this thing is kind of insane. It's strange. It actually took me a while to warm up to this item, but now that I've started using it more often, I can't go back. Crazy damage with crazy proc coefficient gets out of hand quickly, and for that, I love this item. Number 8 is another amazing damaging equipment that comes in the form of the Samarang. This thing solos some bosses early levels, without any other items to back it up, so getting it early is insanely useful. It can hit enemies up to 6 times and stack a ton of bleed, and because of this, it absolutely shreds. I have so much fun with this item, regardless of when I find it. Lucky number 7 is the Royal Accelerator. I don't know what to say about this item. What even is there to say? It's unavoidable 3000% damage. It's insane, and only a 20-second cooldown. This item is busted and there's no other way around it. Number 6 is the FMP. This item earns its rank almost entirely through how fun it is to use. Combined with any of the on-kill items, it's super fun to work around, whether you throw it on the ground when you need healing from a monster tooth, or to activate 50 procs of gasoline for free. This item is insane. Number 5 is the Blast Shower. Now, this item isn't that useful on the surface level. You don't really get hit by debuffs all that often, and when you do, remembering to use the shower is a hurdle within itself. However, for those of you who don't know, the cooldown of ice and fire bans and the cooldown of safer spaces can be cleansed with the Blast Shower. Because of this item is insanely strong when paired with a few gestures and fuel cells. Number 4 is the Trophy Hunter's Tricorn. Who can argue with a free boss item and a free teleporter fight skip? Boss items are some of the the strongest items in this game, so being able to reliably get one and instantly kill a boss is crazy strong. I don't think anyone is going to disagree with me on this one because it's simply amazing. Top 3 is brought to you by the Executive Card, another item that I don't have much to say about. 10% refunds on purchases adds up quickly, and being able to buy every item from a multi-shop can be very important. Even if all the extra stuff you get from this item is useless trash, you still get like 15% more items just by carrying this in your inventory. Number 2 is the Recycler. Have you ever had one of those runs in which, instead of useful items, you just find a constant influx of hot, steaming garbage? Well, the Recycler solves all these problems. The pain of grinding for the legendary chest just to see an interstellar desk plant is no more with just a click of a button. With a few fuel cells, you can easily remove the punishing cooldown, and this item becomes the best equipment in the game. And finally, the official winner and number 1 ranked equipment is the Trophy Hunter's Tricorn, the depleted version. I'm sorry, but Ahoy on command is actually overpowered. If you want to say anything in the chat, you have to stop moving, press enter on your keyboard, type out your message, then press enter again, standing still the whole time and leaving yourself open to any attacks. With this item, you can type the word ahoy with no worries at all. And that's just insane. No matter what way you look at it, this is the best, most useful, and most powerful item, regardless of rank. And that's all for today. Did you disagree with my rankings? Did you agree? Let me know in the comments down below. If you enjoyed the video, I would really appreciate it if you liked the video and subscribe to the channel, as it would help me out a lot. Other than that, thanks so much for watching. Thank you to our members Q3W3E3, Falento725, Shadowchi, Ender the Origin, Soap, Nia, _Radiance. If you'd like to support the channel like they did, you absolutely can, but if you don't want to support with your money, you can always just like, subscribe, join the Discord, or check me out on Twitch. Other than that, I will see you later. Bye-bye. Hey, by the way, look at this art I got made for my channel. Like, hello, it's so good! Ah!